You are the crystallization of the stream of energy, the life source of all that is, and you are moving through the void, through live photo events, billions of times a second. Based on your focus, you are traveling through these quantum realities into your future, which is all existing right now in the spacious present. That's the message that's coming through from Spirit today. We're just going in, coming in hot. And today's Spirit wants to trip out on, yeah, cosmic consciousness and what it really means to understand things from a really broad metaphysical perspective. Spirit's been talking lately about destiny. We are all actors and we have played many characters. Okay, this is our latest character. Some of us actually choose to play young characters, some of us choose to play older, um, older soul kind of characters. For example, I think I fall in that kind of category. But either way, we choose the kind of character that we want to play, and it's part of our destiny. Our destiny is really, they're saying, a series of themes. Okay, so you're here to explore these themes. It's kind of like an adventure park or a theme park. Yeah, a theme park. And in this huge theme park, depending on the version of the character you're playing, okay, because you do not have choice over your character from the conscious perspective self. Of course, we don't remember, most of us don't have that memory of choosing before we came what kind of character we wanted to play. It's like Andrew Lincoln from The Walking Dead wasn't forced to play Rick Grimes. He chose an audition to play Rick Grimes. So it's the same way here. We chose it, we may not remember it. We wake up within this experience, and we can choose what version of the character that we want to play. And depending on that version of the character, we're going to experience different versions of our destiny that allow us to explore these themes. So, okay, now they're asking me to explore like an example theme. So, an example from the Seth material, Seth is one of my mentors. Uh, an example from the Seth material, Seth has explained like an entity who's playing a character or characters all at the same time is exploring a theme. And a theme could be like power. So from the entity level, which is actually one level up from the actor level I was just speaking about, okay, this is just the way the Spirit explains these things to me. I'm just transmitting what they're expressing. They're explaining from the entity level, we're exploring a theme. So let's say that entity is exploring power dynamics as an experience in the theme park. That entity is playing several actors, and each actor would take a different kind of character. And let's say one of those actors is going to take a character that's, I don't know, let's say in some kind of really orthodox, traditional kind of male female kind of dynamic, right? Where the woman has like less kind of outward power. I mean, that's pretty common even today, sadly. So that kind of dynamic, they might choose to take, and they'll play both sides of the situation, or they'll play an entity who's playing with power dynamics. One of the actors will take a character who's playing like a soldier in a war. Okay, they'll maybe play like a modern day police woman or man, and they would also play maybe the criminal or the person who is playing on the other side from them. It doesn't have to be a criminal, as we know nowadays. All sorts of people get into all sorts of trouble for all sorts of things they didn't do. So that's how exploring the destiny themes have. But so we don't have necessarily control, once we're here, boots on the ground, the kind of avatar we have. I mean, of course, you can change things surgically and all that kind of stuff, but more or less, you are who you are from wherever you came from, right? But they're saying it's so much deeper than that, because you can choose the version of your character that you want to play. And here they're saying, for example, you could play somebody who is poverty chic. Okay, that's like something that somebody I knew once coined. I thought it was quite clever and funny, because I rolled like poverty chic for a little while. I wouldn't say I was poor, but I definitely didn't have a ton of money in the bank, but I had a very chic life. It was kind of just interesting. There's just a lot of different ways you can create and thrive here. So I could do poverty chic. I could also do like wealthy, booked, busy, and loaded, you know? I could do hustle Menica. I could do super relaxed, divine feminine, always in receiving mode. Things just flow my way. There's so I could play disempowered Menica. There's so many different versions of the character that I can play, and Spirit's saying that's all that matters. Like, you have all the power. You know, once you kind of accept and come into resonance or peace with the fact that you're in the game, you're in the dream, and it's really pretty tricky to exit. You know, of course, you can do that in your dreams and OBEing and stuff like that. But for the most part, we all wake up here every single day, and we're inside it. It's a little bit like Severance, but it's not in it. And again, my guides are really like, okay, you got to explain this here. I've said it in other videos. The human is getting so much idea from divinity. Like, everything that's created here is created in, like, very much like in Platonic thought. It's created first in the realm of ideas, okay? That's where we actually come from. We are all idea-based entities. Severance is like such a brilliant show because it does show kind of like a nested reality, but of course it's human, so it's inverted. The understanding is inverted, and of course, whatever, it's a show. It's like a lot of things on Earth, you know, there's a lot of truth. Like, for example, with the Matrix, there is a dynamic where this is a construct that we're existing in, like a dream dimension within divinity's mind. But divinity is divinity. Divinity is essentially a hall of mirrors with different faces. That the thread running through that oneness is infinite intelligence in unconditional love. You know, it's not some kind of like self-centered, like lost entity called Lumen, or whatever the name of the company was in Severance, for those of you who've seen it. Okay, I should maybe say what Severance is about if you haven't seen it. It's essentially about a company that creates partitions in human beings, like psyches, that allows them to have an alternative self that's working, that like works for them during the day or something like that. So there's like innies and outies, and Spirit's saying it's actually the other way around, like just terminology wise, using English. Our inner being, like infinity, is not just this external manifestation, it's also moving inwards, and it's moving like frequency wise. So when Nikola Tesla said, if you want to understand the nature of the universe, or the architecture rather of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So really, like, the higher frequency tolerating source beings that we are, the more higher frequency it's going to be. So I don't know if I lost some of you guys there. That was a little tripped out. My guides were like really trippy. So Spirit, what else do you want to say about this? Okay, they're saying explain live photo events. Okay, so live photo events, you know, live photos are on the iPhone, and I still can't figure out what the live photo is really for. It's like a split-second video, but that, I think, is actually existing for this metaphor. So my guides say, like, live photo events. Imagine a bunch of live photo events, like, strung on a timeline. They almost show it to me like clothes pinned on a line, on a clothesline, right? If you're drying your clothes outside, let's say. They're saying that's actually what your timelines are like. You are the consciousness that is projecting. Okay, this is from the very mental realm of experience. It's not from like the astral embodied realm. It would be a totally different experience. But from the mental version of experience, mental perspective of experience, you are actually projecting your consciousness through from your more entity-like actor form. You're projecting your consciousness through this reality, and not this reality, through a bunch of live photo events that string together as if it is a continuous stream of reality, like an animation in a character book. It's so crazy because when I took my first philosophy class, I started writing a little book, and it was called Fables for Philosophers. And the first chapter, or the first opening scene, was about entities, gods, writing characters for themselves. And then the characters, like, here we have like Sleeping Beauty and all, whatever. We have so many infinite books here. You open up the book and the characters are actually living. And Spirit's like, that's actually what it's like. It's like, everything that we create comes to exist. Everything's existing in these dimensions. So we are experiencing this reality as consciousness moving through these live photo events. And the version of the live photo events that you go to is based on your resonance. So yes, within your overall destiny, there's all these kind of live photo event timelines that fit with the co-created reality. So there's different timelines for different versions of you that fit with the overall co-created reality. Hopefully that's clear. Basically, it's just a way that Spirit wanted to share today, the way that we are moving through realities from a very broader perspective, from a very much broader perspective. That's actually how we are experiencing this reality as one continuous experience. And they just wanted to emphasize our power of choice, because that's our superhuman power here, which is our ability to choose what version of ourselves we want to show up as. The power and potency of the soul is increased so greatly by choosing through the resistance, through the programming, through, you know, the backdrop of this kind of Truman Show kind of reality that we're in. The power is yours. You actually are choosing your orientation for the timelines you want to experience based on your present moment and your orientation at any moment. And basically there's two orientations. One is have not and one is have. Or another way to experience it is, you know, life is happening to me, which is kind of like disempowering. What is disempowering? To life is happening for me. I have everything that I need to survive is kind of third density consciousness. And then 5D consciousness is I have everything that I need to thrive. So that orientation, when you realize no matter what's happening in the reflection, when you kind of frame it as from a broader perspective, which is, I can't see how this is connected in the quantum realm, so to speak, or in the void, but this is actually life working for me. Like I'm being redirected, or I have to pivot here, and that's a good thing. It's time to move on from this, but I'm still moving along this trajectory. And so Spirit's saying, this is the power that you have. Your power is in your power of choice and your presence. And they're saying that, you know, they hope that this explanation of kind of the metaphysical nature of the reality construct that we're experiencing is helpful to those of you who are receiving this message. And thank you so much for joining in. If you're interested in coaching, intuitive Akashic record readings, or visionary mind-blowing art, you can find that information in the description box. And thank you so much for sharing your beautiful energy. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, share, and comment. And let me know what metaphysical tripped out experiences you've had in the comments below. I'm really interested in the kind of downloads everybody here is getting if you landed on a video like this. Thank you so much for tuning in, and see you in the next message.